Welcome to Teach Me Social. I'm your host, Mary Ann Suppressi with What's Up Southwest Florida. And joining me today is Robin Schwartz with the local chapters of Businesswomen. And we're going to be talking about networking once again. Imagine that.
Imagine.
So welcome back, Robin.
Thank you, Mary Ann, for having me.
So, in previous episodes of this show, we've given you networking tips. But we thought we would focus on one in particular because we kind of noticed this tends to be a little bit of a weakness. I will admit I'm not always as good about it as I'd like to be, and that's the importance of following up.
Yes.
Well, that's something we kind of notice doesn't always happen. I don't know if it's just this market or if it's everywhere, but when you're networking, it's really important. So why do you think it's important?
It is important because you need to make sure that you've met somebody at an event, and it's like, say, that you're interested in what they do. And you're not there always to sell them something. Sometimes you really just want to follow up and say, I appreciate you taking the time, explain a little bit about your business, or I appreciate you coming to a networking event. Maybe you met people. Did you enjoy your lunch? I mean, it could be a million things. It's not always to sell. So it's so important, and you'll build that rapport with somebody, and it's about building those relationships. And that's how you start that relationship building.
So one of the things that you do is after somebody's visited one of your networking events, you follow up with them. And what specifically do you do when you follow up?
My thing that I do for our women for our lunches is every lady that's come to our lunch, I will call them and just say, I want to call and just say, thank you so much for attending. Did you enjoy your lunch? Hear their feedback. Sometimes they said it was great. Sometimes they'll say, well, the lunch wasn't the greatest, but then we know how to fix something if something is wrong. And then I'm like, did you get a chance to meet the ladies? And that's important because you want them to do that. You want them to get around and meet the ladies. And did you feel welcome? And, and that's important and stuff. And was it relaxed? And that's another important thing because, you don't want them to have that deer in the headlight look.
And there's one thing that you don't do,
yes,
which I think is very important for people to understand. What don't you do?
I don't sell them on what I do for my living. Never sell somebody, well, here's what I do, and shove it down their throat. And that's not how it's done. Again, you have to build the bricks to build the house to build that relationship. And that's why you don't sell them. Just get to know them. Get to understand their business a little bit more. And how can you help them? And then next thing you know, they're buying from you.
So you don't ask them, are they joining or anything like that?
Nope. I never comes up in a conversation. We never talk about it and stuff. And when I hang up the phone and then they come to the next luncheon and they're like, oh my God, that was great. You didn't sell me anything. You didn't do anything. You welcomed me back. You invited me to another luncheon. And that goes so far.
Well, it's nice because it leaves them the space to make their own decision. Because if they decide it's not for them, you don't take it personally.
No, you don't.
Because, not every group is right for every person. Correct. Depending on what you're looking for and who's in the room at the time, whether you feel it's a good match for you.
Absolutely. And you know what? If they want to join, they're going to join. It doesn't matter. But just get to know people. And like you and I have talked, those relationships are so important.
Right. It's all about being of service to people, because one of the ways you can follow up social media wise is when you make a connection with a person is ask them, do you mind if I send you a Facebook request? And now you can continue that relationship building, but do not private message them with everything under the sun that you do. If you're going to talk business with each other, schedule that face to face. You'll get much better reaction from them.
Absolutely.
If you do that. They're going to ignore you if you do it as a private message because you don't know if they're interested. And you should never sell that way. Correct. Anyway.
No.
So you want to get out of sales mode and into service mode.
Absolutely.
And the follow-up is part of that service.
Exactly. And you are absolutely correct when you say that and stuff,
All right.
So.
Well, thank you, Robin, for joining us and sharing your wealth of wisdom.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me, Mary Ann.
We like to kind of be playful sometimes with
yes.
these, wealth of wisdom. So thank you so much. And that ends this episode of Teach Me Social.